Right, how are you doing? Mambo Vipi. He's hoping that all is well with you from wherever part of the world you are watching us. Definitely time for In Focus. And my name, as always, is Eugene Anangwe. Now, tonight on the program, number of them in our newsroom. This is definitely the subject matter that we'll be talking about right here tonight on the program. Why is it important? They say that a society is as educated as its media, and so if we leave out our sisters and our mothers and wives out of this particular profession, then we tend to lose out, or we stand to lose out in a very big way. So we want to talk about the real issues as to why they are not well represented, for that matter, in the media profession. I know that other professions too have low numbers of ladies, but of course there's a major reason why we're talking about ladies here, but probably the others will be another subject matter. I've seen also some people suggesting that we also talk about the issue of men versus women in the workplaces, and of course some feeling that the ladies are favored. That's another topic for another day, but tonight let's focus on this one, and of course let's be able to try and understand. And of course this particular show is very interactive. All you need to do is just tweet us at InFocusRW. But of course, before we get deeper into the conversation tonight, let us look at some of the information that we know concerning this particular matter. We know that the number of females in the media profession has not been that big. Of course, there have been efforts to increase this number, and women accounted for only 29% of journalists in Rwanda. This definitely was according to a Media High Council survey in 2011, and that particular situation was attributed to insufficient efforts on the part of the media to empower women journalists. We'll be able to talk a bit about this, on why that is the case, or whether ladies agree with who are in journalism. According to information that we got in 2011, that number was 29%. This was according to the Media High Council. Of course, we'll be talking later on in the program with the Executive Secretary of the Media High Council, Peacemaker. He will be breaking down these numbers for us and what they've been able to do about this. In 2013, this is what we found according to RFEM, that is the Association of Rwandan Female Journalists, 23%. If you look at that, there's a significant decline from 29% to 23%. We'll be able to talk a bit about that and how that is significant, or whether it is true or not. Now, this is what was said by Patrice Mulama. Patrice Mulama, for those who remember, was the Executive Secretary of the Media High Council, and of course in 2011, in an interview with the New Times, this is what he said. And of course this was after the efforts were put to change the status of affairs, when the Media High Council entered into a partnership with the Gender Monitoring Office to try solve this issue. And this is what Patrice Mulama did say, and I quote: "Our partnership with the Gender Monitoring Office will begin with a general gender audit on the entire media sector to review the challenges faced by both employees and employers, from which we shall then generate a gender mainstreaming strategy." This was in 2011. Today we're in 2018. We'll try and just get to understand whether this did happen. If it did happen, this general gender audit, if it happened in the media houses, and what was the finding. We'll be able to hear that from Mr. Peacemaker, who is the predecessor of Patrice Mulama. Now, of course, this lady here is Flora Kaitesi. She was right here on Rwanda TV. She was gracing your screens, reading the news, editing as the editor here, and she was asked in an interview, and she said, professionally, Rwandan women have come a long way, but I still think the media industry is still wanting in that aspect. We are yet to see women taking the lead in the media. And of course she goes on to say that, I believe women can do investigative journalism, they can do political analysis, they can become media bigwigs, if I should call it that way, and their potential is beyond measure, and it starts with simple things like believing in themselves and their potential. And what better place to do that than here in Rwanda, where policies favor women. Of course, we will be able to dig a bit deeper into this. Of course, this is our social media platform. All you need to do is just use the hashtag InFocusRW. That is the hashtag we are following. Of course, add it in your tweets, and we'll be able to check through what you're saying, and we'll be able to read them live right here on air. All right, I see Andrew Kaziba already saying, with journalism being a stand-strong profession full of intimidation from especially the public, ladies can barely stand amidst this all, and nobody stands by them too. we'll try and make sense of that particular statement right there. Of course, let me introduce my panelists on the show. We have none other than Donna Mbabazi, who's a journalist with the New Times, but today you're representing the Association of Female Journalists in Rwanda, ARFEM. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you, Anand.
All right. Also with us is none other than Nadej Karemera, who's a photojournalist with the New Times. Thank you for joining us, Nadej.
Thanks for having me.
All right. And of course, also with us is Delphine Umuhoza, who's a journalist with TV10.
Thank you.
Especially for the show Prime 10 on TV10. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you too.
And of course, with time, we'll also be able to join live on Skype by Joy Doreen Bira, who is a journalist, and of course, she is a communication specialist. She left the newsroom on mainstream media to actually do advisory communication and of course start off her online channel, Bira Online. We'll be able to join her right here on the program. Of course, as I'd also said earlier, we'll also be hearing from Peacemaker, who's the Executive Secretary of the Media High Council on this conversation. So, ladies, let's start off with this tweet right there by Kaziwe, who says that the media industry has a lot of intimidation going on, of course, and so many times we have ladies not having people who stand by them. I want to hear from you. Do you think this is the reason why the numbers are low? Or actually, for that matter, do you agree that the numbers are low of female journalists in the media industry?
Thank you, Anangwe. I think it's true. Women are actually few in the media industry. But I think the causes run deep. It's not mainly about intimidation and all that.
What could be the problem? What are the causes?
I believe it's mostly a culture factor. Yeah, women were raised to be so reserved, and journalism is a career that requires someone to be determined, and you need to be out there, you know.
Culture.
So, yeah, the culture. So Rwandans, the culture is more like women are meant to be quiet and reserved, and this is the total opposite of someone to be in the field. So I think it's one of the factors and one of the major factors.
One of the major factors.
Yeah.
But you agree, and then you say that culture is a major aspect, playing a major role in this. Nadej, I mean, growing up, is this what you're taught, that you need to be reserved, you need to just be silent, you don't have to be all out there, yet the media requires you to be that? Do you agree with that that culture is the reason why we have few numbers of you in this profession?
Well, thank you, Eugene. Thank you, first of all, for having me here. As Andrew just tweeted, this industry is intimidating. It is hardworking. It takes a lot of time, yes, plus passion. But I'm not going to...
Mindset of who?
Mindset of our parents, mindset of ourselves. Growing up, being told that we have to be three things. A doctor, an engineer, and a lawyer. Journalism wasn't part of the list. Yeah, wasn't part of the list. So we had for ourselves to find out there's something that's called journalism and engage ourselves to go in there. That is mindset. That mindset, we got that mindset from our parents, of course, the society, and the culture. Part of it is the culture, as Donna just said, but I'm not going to blame it on the culture. Right. I'm going to blame it on the mindset. On the mindset
of the parents. But when you say, you know...
And ourselves.
And yourselves, we'll dig a bit deeper on that, but I want to take you on that part of the mindset of the parents, having a list of the things that you need to do. That sounds sort of like long ago, and someone might challenge and say, that is not today's generation of parents. They do not do that, do they?
No, every parent wants to be proud of his kid and her kid. That means he has a list of what he wants the kid to be. And journalism is not part of it. You can't just say, you can't say that it's an old mindset. It's a current mindset, which we are still, we want to overcome, and we are facing it, and we have to fight it in order to see more women in journalism.
Right. Delphine, I mean, for you, were you shunned? Were you told you have chosen the wrong career? I mean, you're shaming us. I mean, she says that parents want to be proud of their kids, and being a journalist is not one of the reasons why they would be proud of you.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me say that I don't agree with them. just because the low number of women in journalism is not the cause of that. There are women in journalism, but the problem is they don't raise their voice.
They don't raise their voice.
Yes,
They're
they
there,
don't
but
talk.
they want to be at the back.
Yeah, and I can say that journalism is an expiring career. When a woman starts doing that, she's, for example, for visual media, like on TV, they show themselves looking beautiful, and people are there admiring. They take us as pictures, or I can say a portrait, someone there to look beautiful.
To look beautiful.
Yes, but when you become a wife, for example, yeah, you start doing those kind of responsibilities that is waiting for you, children and many things. So you don't get the time to prepare yourself and to look beautiful. People start looking at you like you are something else. So women, some quit. Others, their husbands tell them it's not a good profession for you or a career for you. Just leave and quit.
And they quit
yes,
the industry.
and they quit. No, then I can say that those other ladies that are waiting and that are taking them as their role models. For example, I can say I want to be like Bibio when I will grow up. And then that time I arrive there, Bibio will be gone. And those ladies, they are there, and I want to be like Bibio, but she already quit.
Left. So
yes.
she feels like
So what
my
can
role
I do?
model is no longer there
Yeah,
anymore.
so they
quit.
They quit.
Right.
That's the problem.
That's an interesting perspective. She says, Donna, that they women or the ladies are there, but the challenge is that, one, either the management wants to put them just as symbols of beauty, to beautify their TV stations. You know, we'll put you there just because you look so cute, but we will not put you on the managerial visions.
Well, in some way, I think it's true. Because, you know, like these new news anchors, in most cases, people think they're there just because they're beautiful. They don't see the journalism part in them. Yeah, they mostly see how beautiful they are, how attractive they are, which shouldn't be the case. And in most cases, for the side of men, they actually focus on how they perform. The bit of attractiveness comes in later, but for a woman, it's number one. And I think it affects women in some way.
It affects them in one way. I mean, Nadesh, you're beautiful, I might say. I mean, and every one of us is beautiful in our own ways. I want to hear from you because you are a photojournalist. And I can imagine, you know, probably what you go through. You can be able to tell us because she speaks of that aspect or that line where they're just seen as beautiful objects. They're just seen as symbols. I want to hear whether you face this or these are just things that are written on papers and they're not real on the ground. What are the real challenges that you go through going out there with your camera to do a job that most people feel is a male-dominated field?
Thank you, Eugenie. I'm beautiful. I'm not going to blame it on beauty. I'm not going to say that the first challenge is because I'm beautiful or any other reason. I face challenges because people don't believe I can do the job boys can do. People think that when you are a girl, you can't maybe work as hard as a boy. And that is the problem. Not because you're beautiful, but because you're a girl in general.
You still face that? What's the worst you've been told? What's the worst you've gone through?
People are expecting me to work to do double work for me, for them to believe in me. They are expecting me to do extra job for me to gain their trust. We as a photographer, which is what every female journalist is facing, for her to get credit of what she did. She's expected to work hard to do double work, which is different from men.
And so it becomes difficult.
Yes.
I mean,
let me focus on what she's saying. I can add that when you look media in general, you see that there are women, some women, but those women are in social shows.
Shows, yes.
Yes, and I can say those kind of entertainment, children.
So
There are no women in, for example, current affairs, hard news. No women there. Why? Because when you ask them, can you please do it? No, it's for Eugene, it's for someone else. I cannot talk those kind of discussion.
They are the ones who say this.
Yeah. Some women say that they can't do that because they think it's for men. It's because they still have those kind of belief they've been taught when they were young that those kind of conversation, those kind of show are for men. They have to sit down and they kept quiet without saying anything, men do, and then they act nothing.
Right.
So what I can say is that the problem is no woman is given a time to show what she got.
No, but you're shooting yourself on the foot. You say that the women themselves or the ladies themselves,
they don't
when they're told go and do hardcore, news or get into the thick of it,
they are afraid.
They say no, that is not for me.
Why?
But then you say that
because, for example, some editors or other people who are responsible for giving them those kind of programs, they don't even show them they are confident. They show them women should go there in the backyard, I can say that. Because those women, they are not even confident of doing that. They don't show that. You know why? Because women take themselves as, when you see a woman who is talking, hard talking, they say, oh, she's not a lady, she's a man. Oh, she's difficult, unladylike, things like those. So they decide to keep quiet and they wait. Even in those kind of shows in entertainment or everything, they don't talk, they don't show themselves. They appear as I don't know how to talk about it.
Just to complement the male
yes,
figure.
to complement and to show, to beautify the show, nothing else. That's the problem.
Right.
They need to be shown that they can do it. And they need to be given the time to do that and to be observed. Yeah.
Right.
Jean, allow me to disagree. This is totally wrong. There is no woman who is given trust. There is no woman who has been shown that she can do it, who has not done it. Women.
So she says that when you're told, like for instance, if Nadej is told, come and do In Focus, they say, oh yeah, that one is for Nangwe.
That is
can I
wrong.
Yes. Can I give you an example?
Wait a little bit.
Yes.
Women, when they are shown that they can do it, they already know that they can do it, but they lack that opportunity of going out there.
So the opportunity
and
is
do
what is
it.
missing.
Yes, the opportunity and the trust. How can you dare say that?
Okay, I can give you an example. For example, I remember it was in 2007 or 8 or 10. And you know the lady named Kabengera who?
Just tell us what happened.
I don't remember well the name. Yeah. When she started doing the show in entertaining people, people were happy. And they were saying, wow. But in the backward, there were some people, for example, I can say like parents, they were like, how it comes that a lady with children and a husband can do that.
So they start saying,
yeah. Oh my God, yes.
Like they would say, she's not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
I want to hear from Don. I mean, from the perspective of RFM, are you aware of this? I mean, are these real challenges or are these made up things?
Yeah.
Because Nadej feels that, it doesn't really make sense. It's not true that you give us a chance and we refuse. We have the capability. All we need are the opportunities. This is what Nadej says. But she says we have some who really are approached, given the opportunity, but they feel like, this is not for me.
Actually, I think it's true. Because you
what
see,
is true, Nadej or Delphine?
There are both factors that are actually prevailing. Opportunities are there, but then some women are actually shy, if I may say that. But then, like she was saying that Tijara was maybe talked about like someone who people wonder why she can actually take on such a show when she's a married woman.
Yeah.
I've heard people talk about that, yes. But then I think it requires character, You need to know who you are, what you want to do, and what you want to achieve. Yeah, so it runs within you, your character, but then it also, it's within us. Opportunities are there.
Opportunities are there.
Because, for example, in the newsroom, it's really hard to find someone covering a story in the parliament, a girl, not because opportunities are not there. You can actually go cover any story you feel like covering. But then you feel like, that's meant for someone like a man. So for us, we go for maybe women's stories or fashion pieces because we still have the thing that's limiting us in some way.
Right.
Yeah. Not all newsrooms have those opportunities, yes. But then for those ones who do, still women still have the thing that keeps them behind.
They keep them behind.
Yes.
I mean, I am a university student. I mean, I know people sometimes get shocked. I mean, there's nothing to be shocked about. Learning never ends. But something interesting that I know of, or I've also heard or seen the trends, is that we have so many ladies in journalism classes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So many. If you go to a university school or a higher learning institution that offers mass media, you'll find a very large number of ladies. But when you come to the newsrooms, you do not see them there. I mean, and that begs the question, what happens between the graduation and getting to that job?
They tend to go to public relations in most cases. You know why? Journalism requires someone to be on the field, and most women don't really find that easy, you know. Like, you end up traveling to, for example, Musanze, and then you spend there like 2 days, 3 days. You have to go on the field, look for sources, something which is not so easy. It requires someone who is determined. And most women, or maybe some, they like easy life, you know. Just go sit in office, do your work. By 5 p.m., you go back home. Just a routine like that. So for one to be in journalism, you need to want things which are kind of challenging to you. And that's something which is still missing. Yeah.
In most of the ladies. Nadesh, do you agree? I mean, she says that, oh yeah, you know, the problem is that most ladies want the easy life. I don't want to go start digging for sources. I don't want to go live away from my family for 3 days because I went to follow a certain story on a news beat or something. Is this the reason?
I strongly disagree. I'm not going to agree to anything that makes a woman feel less powerful. A woman is powerful. A woman can do anything that a man does. So I'm not getting you, Donna, saying that a woman can't get off her comfort zone and go on the field and do research, come up with a good story. What I keep on emphasizing on is the lack of opportunity.
Right.
Women are not given opportunity to do what they are able to do. And the mindset, a woman thinking, her mindset, not being able, thinking that she cannot do it. That is the most important issue that you have to tackle here.
Right. You talk of opportunities.
And as well as the role models. Seeing women who are there, what are they doing, and all of those things are going to inspire women who are out there doing journalism in university to come out and go in the newsroom.
Right. I mean, she talks of opportunities.
Yeah, she talks about.
Who do you want to give them?